What if I told you that something you're doing alone, quietly behind closed doors, something you've done your entire life, might be the reason your strength, energy, and even your desire as a man are quietly fading away? I'm Dr. James, a senior men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience helping older men reclaim their vitality, boost their testosterone naturally, and enjoy the life they still deserve to live, with confidence, intimacy, and power. See, most men over 60 believe that masturbation is harmless or even helpful. But what they don't know is that 5 specific mistakes, when done regularly after a certain age, begin to sabotage their hormones, wreck their stamina, and rob them of the very masculinity they're trying to preserve. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 5 most common masturbation mistakes that older men make. Mistakes that quietly erode your testosterone, shrink your muscle mass, dull your desire, and damage your prostate. And more importantly, I'll show you how to fix them, starting today. And the 5th mistake? It's the most dangerous of all. Not only does it deplete your testosterone faster than aging ever could, it also rewires your brain in a way that makes recovery nearly impossible unless you catch it in time. Stay with me, this one mistake could be the difference between strength and decline. Before we go any deeper, if you're over 60 and care about protecting your testosterone, your strength, and your independence, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health warning made specifically for men like you. If this message is hitting home, type 1 in the comments to let me know you're with me. If it's not what you expected, type 0 and tell me how I can make it better for you. So let's start with the most common trap. The one most older men fall into without even realizing it. It feels harmless, even healthy, but it's quietly draining your testosterone day after day. Mistake 1. Doing it too often, the testosterone drain you didn't see coming. Let me be honest with you, over the years I've sat across from hundreds of older men in their late 60s, early 70s, who told me the same thing. Doc, I still take care of myself. I eat right, but I'm tired all the time. I've got no drive, no spark. What's going on? And when I dig a little deeper, the truth comes out. They're still masturbating as often as they did in their 30s and 40s, sometimes even more. They think it's harmless, but it's not. Here's what most men don't realize. After 60, your body doesn't bounce back like it used to. Your hormone system slows down, your recovery time lengthens, and your testosterone production becomes more fragile. Every time you climax, your body releases prolactin, a hormone that suppresses testosterone. In younger men, the body resets quickly. But for older men, frequent ejaculation creates a chronic hormonal imbalance. Low testosterone, low energy, low vitality. And the price you pay? It's not just feeling tired. It's deeper. It's that slow, creeping loss of masculinity you can't quite explain. You don't wake up with energy, your muscles feel soft, your thinking gets foggy, your confidence fades. You may notice that your erections aren't as strong or your desire feels forced. And the worst part? You don't connect the dots. You just think, maybe it's old age. But it's not. It's a pattern, and it's robbing you silently. I've had men break down in front of me when they realized the truth, when they understood that something they thought was keeping them young was actually accelerating their decline. But once you become aware, you can change it. You don't have to quit completely. You just need to respect your body's new rhythm. Give it space. Let your system rebuild. The goal isn't repression, it's restoration. So take a moment to reflect. Has this become a habit you don't even question anymore? If so, it's time to take back control. Not by giving something up, but by doing it differently. And as you'll see in the next mistake, it's not just how often you do it, but what you do while you're doing it. That can cause even more damage to your testosterone, your brain chemistry, and your ability to feel real connection. Let's talk about that next. Mistake 2. Watching too much porn, rewiring your brain against real intimacy. I need to say something that may make you uncomfortable, but it needs to be said. I've met too many older men who've unknowingly traded connection for a screen. They started using porn as a private outlet, maybe just once in a while, but over time it turned into a routine, then a habit, then a dependency. It's something they never talk about, but behind closed doors, it's quietly doing more damage than they ever imagined. At your age, your brain is more sensitive to stimulation than you think. When you watch porn, especially modern high-intensity content, your brain gets flooded with dopamine, the pleasure chemical. At first it feels good, but the more you watch, the more your brain demands novelty, shock, intensity. What used to excite you no longer works. You chase more extreme content but feel less satisfied. That constant flood of dopamine trains your brain to expect fantasy, not reality. And here's where it turns dangerous. Every time this cycle repeats, your testosterone takes a hit. That dopamine overload is followed by a crash. Your body produces more prolactin, a hormone that lowers testosterone. The more you watch, the deeper that crash becomes. You're left with less energy, less desire, and less ability to perform, mentally, physically, and emotionally. But the price goes even deeper than that. I've seen men lose their ability to connect with their spouses. I've seen marriages fall apart because the intimacy was gone, replaced by a secret habit they couldn't stop. Men who once had passion and emotional strength started feeling numb, disconnected, even ashamed. Their self-esteem crumbled, and tragically, they blamed themselves, not realizing their brain had been rewired by something they thought was harmless. You need to hear this. Porn is not just entertainment, it's a chemical manipulator. And after 60, your brain doesn't recover the same way it used to. The damage can become permanent if you're not careful. If you're using porn as a substitute for closeness or as a habit to escape boredom, it's time to pause. Reclaim your mind. Reconnect with your real self. You are not broken. You're simply stuck in a pattern your biology can't handle anymore. And while we're on the subject of patterns, let me ask you something important. When was the last time you were fully present during the act itself? Because the next mistake isn't about what you watch or how often, it's about how you treat your own body in the moment, and the silent damage that causes over time. Let's explore that next. Mistake 3. Masturbating without engagement, treating it as a mechanical release. Let me ask you something personal. When was the last time you were truly present during the act? I mean, fully aware, not rushed, not distracted, not just going through the motions like it was a chore to get out of the way before bed. If you're like most men over 60 that I've worked with, you may have slipped into a habit of using masturbation as a quick stress relief without much thought, emotion, or connection to your own body. And that may be doing far more harm than you think. You see, the body responds differently when the mind isn't involved. When you treat this deeply human act like a mechanical task, something just to release pressure, you shut off the very hormonal loop that helps you maintain a healthy sexual identity. The body starts to separate the experience from emotion, from pleasure, from purpose, and instead it becomes tension, guilt, and detachment. And the brain learns that pattern. The next time you do it, the same cold detachment kicks in, and slowly, without realizing it, you disconnect from your own masculinity. What's the real cost of that? The price you pay isn't just a sense of emptiness afterward, it's the gradual decline of testosterone triggered by that disconnection. Because when there's no oxytocin release, when there's no emotional engagement or sense of intimacy even with yourself, the body reads that as stress, not satisfaction. And stress signals the brain to suppress testosterone production. Over time, you begin to feel flat, unmotivated, even slightly depressed. Your sexual function becomes weaker, your arousal dulls, and that inner fire, that feeling of being a man, begins to fade into something lifeless. And I've seen this story play out more times than I can count. Men who once had passion, energy, and presence suddenly feeling invisible, like a shadow of who they were. They didn't know it was the lack of presence, the robotic repetition, that was slowly breaking them down from the inside out. But once they changed, once they slowed down and reconnected with their own body, they came back to life. They didn't feel younger, they felt more alive. So here's what I want you to consider the next time you're alone. Don't rush. Don't treat it like a task. Be with yourself. Breathe. Feel. Rebuild that bond with your own body. It matters more than you realize. Because as important as mindfulness is, there's something even more dangerous, and that's what happens after you climax. Most men think the act ends there, but your body is just beginning a new phase, and skipping it could leave you weaker, slower, and more drained than ever. Let's get into that next. Mistake 4. Ignoring post-masturbation recovery. Skipping what your body needs afterward. Let me tell you something most men never hear, not from their doctors, not from their friends, and certainly not from health websites. What you do after you climax matters just as much as what you do during, and yet most older men completely ignore this critical recovery phase. They get up, go about their day, or worse, go to bed without giving their body what it needs to reset. And that's where the silent damage begins. After you climax, especially at our age, your body enters a hormonal shift. Your dopamine drops, prolactin rises, and your nervous system transitions into a recovery state. This is natural, but if you don't support it, if you don't rehydrate, nourish yourself, relax, and allow your system to rebalance, you stay stuck in the low phase. Your testosterone doesn't rebound. Your energy doesn't return. Your body starts associating release with depletion, not satisfaction. And the price you pay? It's heavier than you think. You wake up feeling tired even if you slept 8 hours. Your mind feels dull, your muscles ache longer, you feel slower, less sharp. You might even begin to resent the act itself, not realizing it's the lack of recovery that's draining you, not the act. Over time, these repeated crashes accumulate, and suddenly your baseline energy, motivation, and strength start falling off a cliff. I've had men come to me thinking they had early signs of depression or chronic fatigue, only to discover that all they were missing was proper post-release care. A glass of water, a light stretch, 10 minutes of stillness, or a small protein-rich snack, these simple steps helped restore their balance, their clarity, and their testosterone flow. It's not complicated, but it is crucial. So the next time you think it's over, once it's over, stop yourself. Ask, what does my body need right now to feel strong tomorrow? Because your recovery isn't just about rest, it's about renewal. And neglecting it doesn't just make you tired, it makes you weaker day by day in ways you won't even notice until your strength is gone. Now, if this surprised you, what I'm about to share next might shock you even more. Because it turns out, there's a specific time of day when masturbation does the most damage to your testosterone. And it's when most older men are doing it without thinking. Let's talk about that next. Mistake 5. Masturbating at the wrong time of day, when testosterone is naturally lowest. There's something I wish more men understood, not just about what they do, but when they do it. Because timing matters more than you think, especially after 60. Your body isn't operating on the same hormonal cycle it did when you were 30. Back then, your system was forgiving. Now, every choice hits harder and the consequences last longer. One of the biggest mistakes I see is older men masturbating late at night, often as a way to relax before bed. It might feel like a harmless way to unwind, but here's what most don't realize. Late at night is when your testosterone levels are at their lowest. Your body is shifting into recovery mode, focusing on repair, memory consolidation, and hormone regulation. When you stimulate yourself during that time, you interrupt your body's natural rhythm. You're asking your system to shift into excitement when it's trying to restore. That conflict creates stress, and stress kills testosterone. Add to that the rise in prolactin after orgasm and the drop in dopamine, and you've just set yourself up for a night of poor sleep, weak testosterone production, and a next morning that feels heavier than it should. The price you pay? It's not just poor sleep, it's deeper. Your testosterone doesn't get the overnight spike it needs. Your body doesn't fully reset. You wake up groggy, unmotivated, maybe even anxious without understanding why. Your erections weaken. Your metabolism slows. And the long-term effect? A steady erosion of your masculine energy, not just physically but mentally and emotionally too. You stop feeling like the man you once were, and that's not something any pill can fix. I've had men come to me convinced they were battling something serious. Depression, maybe low thyroid, but when we look closer, the real issue is hidden in their nighttime habits. A simple shift, moving the act to the morning or limiting it to times when their energy was already high, helped them regain clarity, sleep better, and feel like themselves again. This isn't about shame or judgment, it's about strategy. Your body has rhythms for a reason, and when you align with them, everything starts to work better. Your sleep, your mood, your strength, and yes, your testosterone. And now that you know the 5 most common mistakes, the real question is, what do you do next? Because reversing the damage isn't about giving things up, it's about doing them smarter, and I'm going to show you exactly how. Let's talk about your recovery plan. Conclusion: the choice is yours. Decline silently or rebuild your masculine power. By now, you've seen what most men never hear about, let alone talk about. 5 common habits that seem innocent, even routine, yet slowly chip away at your most vital resource as an aging man: your testosterone. And more than just a hormone, testosterone is your fire. It's your edge. It's your drive, your energy, your presence. When that starts slipping away, so does your sense of self. Here's what I need you to understand. This isn't about shame. This isn't about regret. This is about awareness. Finally connecting the dots between how you treat your body and how your body responds with strength or weakness, with clarity or confusion, with vitality or decline. And once you become aware, you have a decision to make. You can keep living the same way, brushing it off as just aging, letting your power drain out day by day until one day you barely recognize the man in the mirror. Or, Joe, you can take back control. Because no matter your age, 60, 70, 80, change is possible. Rebuilding your testosterone, your energy, your emotional connection, your confidence, it starts with small adjustments. Slowing down, choosing presence over habit, respecting your body's rhythms, giving it what it needs before and after release, and most of all, letting go of the lies we've been fed for decades. That what you do in private doesn't matter, that it's harmless, that it's too late to change. It matters more than you know, and it's never too late to take a new path. You are not broken. You are not past your prime. You are simply out of alignment with what your body truly needs at this stage in life. The moment you realign, everything begins to shift. You sleep better. You move with more purpose. You wake up with that internal spark again, and the people around you feel it too. The choice is yours. Decline silently, or fight for the energy, clarity, and masculinity that still live within you. And if you're ready to take that next step, I'm here to guide you. In our next video, I'll walk you through a simple, powerful 3-step strategy designed specifically for men over 60 to naturally restore testosterone, increase blood flow, and rebuild muscle without pills, pressure, or shame. This is your turning point, and it begins right now. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.